Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the Citizen Series 8 890. This is the limited edition with the salmon dial. There is 1,700 of these pieces worldwide, and the price for this watch is $1,595. The other colorways are the same price as well. This watch is on loan from Salmon Watches. I'll leave a link in the description to both their website and their Instagram. Please go check them out. I really appreciate it if you would do that. So as I mentioned, this is a limited edition. We do have a flat sapphire crystal. I've really come to appreciate flat sapphire crystals. My Submariner has a flat sapphire crystal. I just really appreciate how easy they are to tell the time and the legibility with a flat sapphire crystal. This one does have AR coating. I believe it's on the underside. As I mentioned, this is a salmon dial, and the texture of the dial has been inspired by cherry blossoms. It's a very cool dial. I've also really come to appreciate textured dials. It's a nice little extra touch, and usually does not affect legibility that much. Let's zoom in a little bit here, and you can see we have Citizen below the 12 o'clock indice, and then we have Series 8 automatic just above the 6 o'clock indice. And you can see the chapter ring is actually an inner rotating bezel that's accessed by this crown up here. It is not a screw down crown. This crown is not a screw down crown either. So you can just rotate that freely. And the interesting thing about this watch, being that it's not a screw down crown, it's still rated to 200 meters of water resistance. It's not very common that you see a watch that is rated to 200 meters of water resistance that has a crown that is not a screw down crown. So Lume, we have loomed indices. The hour hand and minute hand is loomed. I could not find the formula of the Lume, but we'll check out the Lume at the end of the video here. I'll compare it to my Submariner and perhaps my SKX 009. Try to fit all three in here. And we have a date window here at 3 o'clock. That is a framed date window. So the indices in the hands for sure look to be black, but a polished black. So in the light right there, you get reflection. And then here it looks black, and it looks to be the same on the indices in that framed date window as well. I can see it a lot easier here in the studio lighting, but in regular lighting it's hard to tell that those items are black. You can definitely see the crowns are black here, both crowns, black and stainless steel, and it looks nice. Normally I'm not a fan of different colored crowns, but on this watch it looks good. Kind of reminds me of the Royal Oak Offshore. That's a large chronograph. This watch is a little bit larger than I was expecting as well too. Not sure if that's due to the case shape. Just looking at it online, I did not really look at the specs before I asked if Salmon could send one over for us to check out. So a little bit surprising unboxing it, but it's not overly large. I can still pull it off on my 6.5-inch wrist, but it's a hefty, a bit of a larger watch. So the movement is the Miyota 9051 movement, 8 beats per second, 42 hours of power reserve. The accuracy is plus 20 minus 10, but Citizen and Seiko kind of do the same thing where they really have a broad range for that accuracy, but the watches are more accurate than that. I would not let that dissuade you or push you away from buying the watch. It'll be plenty accurate. And for me personally, the accuracy of an automatic watch, it's not really high on my priority of the things that I look for in a mechanical watch. So on the case, this portion here seems to be bolted on. And the same thing for the crown guards. You have those two screws there. So the crown guard must get bolted on, and then the crown would be screwed in. And the watch is stainless steel. Nice mix of brushed and polished surfaces. I really like the way that this watch looks. You get a lot of nice light play off of here. Really reminds me of the Zenith I had a while back. The Zenith Defy Classic. Actually, I don't think I released a video on that one yet, but I didn't really wear it and I ended up selling it. But it's a nice watch here. And then you can see the movement back here. The Miyota 9051. 8 beats per second, 42 hours power reserve. And it also is, this one is rated to I think it's 16,000 Gauss or whatever the anti-magnetic ratings are, so it's anti-magnetic as well. Again, not something I look forward to in a movement, but it's nice to have that. And I like the display case back. You can see the movement in there, and it's fairly nicely decorated. Oh, even says limited edition. That must be on the crystal. And I did not see a number for the limited edition. That's hit or miss. Some watches will tell you the number in the series, but this one again is limited to 1,700 worldwide. And this is the integrated bracelet. I don't know if I've seen any. I think I might have seen some on leather straps, but I would go with bracelet. I like that you have the polishing basically in between the links. Very cool looking. So this looks like a pin and collar system to me. I don't see any splits in the pins for a split pin system, and I don't see screw heads, so I'm going to say it's a pin and collar system. That seems to become more and more prevalent, and depending on how the system is, it can be really not that bad to size them, and other times it's kind of a pain in the rear end to size them. The Seiko pin and collars are not that fun, but other ones are not too bad. So on to the bracelet. Unfortunately, I can't size this. The watch is on loan, so I'm not, and I wouldn't want to mess with it anyway, but the links may be a little bit big for getting the perfect size. I don't see any half links with this, and there is no micro adjust. This clasp, it's not a butterfly clasp, but it kind of looks like one. Let me close this up, move the hang tag out of the way. So it looks like a butterfly clasp. It looks nice. It really does look like a nice clasp. You have the dual pushers. This is all stamped. This portion is stamped. Those pushers are stamped. And then this portion here looks to be milled. But there's no half links and no micro adjusts, so you may be wearing it a little bit loose on your wrist. And we do have solid end links and the solid links. Really no articulation on the center links. They're just fixed in place, so it does wear a little bit large in that regard there, but it does taper down, so it's not too bad. So let's go over the dimensions. From the end link to end link, we're looking at the center of the end link, 51.5, and then the watch case itself, 47 millimeter. And the diameter is a little bit tricky. I'm going based off what it says on the website. The Citizen website says 42.6. I believe I measured from here to here at about 40.6. It's an octagonal, it's a 8-sided bezel here, so, and then here's a little bit larger. And then I also did measure from, I think from here to here. I don't remember if I included the crown in that or not, but 44.5. I think I did use the crown. 44.5 all the way across. 12.1 thick, so really not that thick considering it's rated to 200 meters of water resistance. And then up here we're at 25. It's not really the lug width. That doesn't really tell you much, so I measured the outside of the bracelet, 25 millimeter. It does taper down nicely to 20. I prefer, it does taper a lot, 5 millimeter, but down here I'd like to see about 16, and right now we're at 20. So that's what this thing kind of does, 21 down to 16, I believe. 6.8 millimeter, the main crown here is 6.8, and then the secondary crown is 5.8. And I didn't write down what I weighed it at, but from memory it's 141 grams with all the links. So let me get this on wrist, and then we'll check out the Lume. Let me show it to you side by side with the Submariner for size reference. So 42.6 for the diameter on this according to the website, and this one's 41. So similar size, just different styling, right? You have the bezel on the interior of the, or under the dial here, under the crystal here, so it looks like a larger watch. A little bit deceptive there. And then the thicknesses are very similar. I believe the Submariner is I believe it's 12 and a half, somewhere on there. I forgot. Let's take another look at the watch case and I'll get on wrist. It's a lot to take in here. It's not your usual looking watch. So brushed on the top of the bezel, polished on the side, and then brushed, well, on the side again. So kind of a triple thing there. And then we have the polished chamfered edges. So very neat looking watch. All right, let me get it on my wrist and then we'll close out the video after the Lume comparison. Citizen, the Lume can be hit or miss. So I'm really curious to see how it compares to my 15-year-old Seiko and the Submariner. So I have a 6.5-inch wrist with a 52mm wristband. So the ends of the center links are right at the edges of my wrist. So let me know what you think of this watch in the comment section. I really like the dial on this. The salmon color dial. I guess salmon's not quite pink, not quite copper, but it's a good looking watch. Alright, let's take a look at the Lume. Alright, so SKX009 on the left, the 890 in the middle, and then my Submariner on the right. The Lume is right in there. The hour and minute hand is actually better Lume than the SKX. And right off the bat is better than the Rolex as well. I would say the indices on the Rolex are the best, and then the SKX and the 890 pretty close to the same Lume on the indices. So let me turn the lights back on, and one more thing I wanted to discuss with this watch. So this is more of a what I would call a dive style watch. It's not going to be an ISO certified diver. You don't have the Lume pip. You don't have the external rotating bezel, which I believe is part of the ISO certification. But also you need to have every minute, I believe, it needs to be marked out on the bezel. So this one may not even be ISO certified either. And then you need to have the new rules that you need to have, I believe, Lume on every indice. This one met that criteria, 20 years ago, whenever this watch was first designed. Actually, I think it was designed in '96 or somewhere around there. But anyway, just wanted to make that note. This is a dive style watch. It's not a divers rated 200 meter. You see how that says divers 200 on there? This one is 200 meters rated. So that's probably how they get away with 200 meters water resistant without the screw down crown. But it really doesn't matter to me if it's 200 meters water resistance or 100 or 300 like that one's rated. I'm never going to dive with them. So anyway, with that tangent out of the way, that will conclude this video. As always, thank you for your time and thank you for watching.